Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with us today. She's a nail artist. Please welcome Adreanna Corrales. Hello, Adriana. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello. So happy to have you. So, in terms of the interview, I want to go ahead and get started and ask, where are you from and how'd you get started in the nail industry?
Okay. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, West Phoenix to be more specific, because that matters. It does. It kind of gives you an idea of there are certain demographics of people that come from certain hoods in certain areas of Phoenix. So I am definitely very proud to be from West Phoenix. And that matters as far as where I am as a business owner, entrepreneur, doing my own thing in the business industry. A lot of people don't really get that opportunity, or now are learning to know that they have that opportunity and can start doing that for themselves too. Getting in the nail industry, when you ask that question, that's kind of when it dawned on me that I am actually in the nail industry. I never thought of it as being in the nail industry. I just got into it for nail art. And then it just became a thing where I can, create my own business and make money or survive, pretty much create a sustainable life doing what I love, is just painting art and doing nails. And then I realized, no, I've been in it for a minute. I am in the industry. So when it came to getting into nails and going to school, I decided that I should just go for it and try it out and see if I like it. If I don't like it, it was mainly for nail art. So then I looked into schools here in AZ. In Phoenix area, there's mainly a lot of the beauty schools are all in one. So if you're going to go get your nail license, you have to go get your cosmetology license. And then there are maybe more programs now that I'm learning are opening up just to get your nail license. But I didn't see the nail industry the way I see it now, or saw the opportunities that I saw it as now. So I went to California. I decided that I'm just going to, go do nails in LA, because that's where all the nail art was. And that's where the scene was, as far as it growing in that industry and growing as far as, clientele wanting to get nail art, wanting to think outside the box. So I went to California. I was in, Orange County. The school I went to was in Garden Grove. I went to Advanced Beauty College, got my nail license there. I apprenticed for a shop there. It was a nail art studio, so they were already doing what we're used to seeing now, or are starting to think of nails now. But it didn't work out as far as me being in California. I came back, and then it just happened at the right time that I met a studio owner who was wanting to get the ball rolling and create that type of dynamic, and having a nail salon run differently, focus on art, focus on artists, versus it being just a walk-in shop. And now I'm here, and it's 7 years later. It's crazy. But it just started off with nail art. Really, I just thought I was gonna, I'm gonna get my license. I'm gonna go to LA. I really want to pursue whatever's going on out there. And then it just turned into more of a passion to follow art. And even if it wasn't going to work out, I just thought I was just doing art. And then I realized I'm actually in an industry. I'm actually a part of this whole culture of what's going on with nails now.
Right, exactly. So just to clarify for the licensing, are you a licensed cosmetologist or are you a licensed nail tech?
I am a licensed nail tech. The school that I went to, they did cosmetology. They had a nail program. They had an esthetician program. I think they had a massage program. So I just got my license in nails. I wasn't going to want to, if that's probably what took me the longest to get into the industry, or actually get my license, because I did not want to waste my time doing hair or doing makeup or doing all that stuff. And then when I realized that you could get just your nail license just to be a nail technician, then that's when I went for it.
Cool. Yeah, like for me, I started getting into nail art when I was like in my teens. And for me, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So my high school, they offer like cosmetology courses. So that's how I got my license. So I took the courses in high school, like from 10th grade, like senior year. And then before I got into art school, I got my license. So that's how that worked out. So that's on my end. So just like in terms of with getting into nails, was there anyone that really mentored you or inspired you to get into nails?
What had happened, I started doing my own nails just as a hobby. And I could just see, some people, because when you do come from you come from West Phoenix, so you are going to see, or just like any type of hood, you're going to see people are getting their nails in and they've always gotten nail art on their nails. They've always gone to design. Maybe we were restricted as far as like how elaborate we could go, but that was always part of like our identity was having nails and putting nail art. And so I just did it myself.
Right.
And I would just practice doing designs on myself. And it started off with Tumblr. I had just Googled something about leopard print because I painted leopard print on my nails because, you were able to get airbrushed leopard print on your nails or the airbrushed long palm trees or, that stuff. And I was like, what if I just paint it with nail polish myself? I Googled it. Fuck yeah, nail art was on Tumblr. And then it just like opened a whole page of like existing nail artists. And that's when Ayla Montgomery was doing Nailgasm. And then that's when I saw she was interviewing people. And that's when I discovered Spifster. That's when I discovered like all these like OG nail artists, maybe who aren't even doing salon work anymore and have expanded and done other things. But that's where it started for me. And I was like, I can do what I like doing on myself and do what these other nail artists are doing. I didn't even think of working in a salon yet. I was just having so much fun expressing all the ideas that you can paint on your nails. And that was a hobby of mine before but then I started to see more and more of these nail artists that, they weren't working in salons with other nail artists yet, but they were doing their own thing in the field, in the nail industry. And I was like, I can do that. Maybe I can this is how I'm going to express my art and this is how I'm going to do it. So I had those people that I was inspired by. I did have some mentorship in the beginning. It did go a little sour, so I really don't talk about how that started, but I definitely am very grateful for the opportunities that I had and for what I learned as far as a nail studio goes. And then, meeting new people and meeting artists who are already, started that journey and then coming back home and doing that for myself. And then kind of just seeing Phoenix grow in that same way that I aspired to watch other people from other cities do it, from LA to New York to Miami, to just like all these more populated cities like, Chicago, like all this stuff that was going on in all these other cities, we could bring it here. So direct mentorship, I did have a little, but mainly just being inspired by other people who are doing it for themselves. And then kind of just seeing that that's the only way that we're going to get the ball rolling is if we just do it ourselves.
Right, exactly. I can definitely agree with that. Now, who would you consider to be like your favorite nail artist? Because I know one of them you mentioned was Spifster.
Yeah, Takara for sure. So there are so many people that I looked up to in the beginning that I still look up to now. But as far as like, what I think of now is like, there are so many nail artists in this community. It's like I thought of it as just the community and then the industry. And then I saw that there's so many of us already doing, and that's just inspiring already. And that I look up to so many of the people who've already, done that for themselves. Right. But when you ask that question, I automatically, the three people that came in my head was Spitzer for sure. For her, when I saw her art, to me, she was just a painter on nails. She had her execution was like Basquiat or, Picasso, or, she has that style. You give her something to paint, and right off the back, you're going to know that that was Spitzer that painted that. The way she executes her lines and her art and her brushstrokes. So that inspires me. I still haven't even created that for myself. I don't even know what that is. Even as a painter, I paint outside of nails, and I'm still trying to figure it out. But I love that she has that, and that shows up in every set that she does. Then there's Gracie J, who's editorial nails. And for her, she's turned nails and nail art not just for what's like on your fingers, but it's a whole presentation. It's a whole visual art. Every time she posts something, you see it in the light of it's editorial work. It's like magazine work. You see it. It's in a video. It's in a post. It's in a photo. Anything that you're doing. And she's inspired by like any type of thing. And then she creates it. And then it's art. It's like kind of, there's abstract, there's color block, there's contemporary, there's a visual art to it, and the way it's presented. That my brain doesn't even know how to do that for myself, but I love it when I see it. Every time I see her post, that's a bomb ass post. I just it's just so good. Yeah. And then someone else that comes to mind was Vivian. I don't know how to say her last name. Vivian Shu.
Yeah, Viv Shu.
Yes, thank you. The Pampered Nail Gallery. For her, because I like painting faces and I like painting portraits, her work is it's just out of this world. The girl, it takes her, 5 to 11 hours to do something, but that amount of skill to paint a face, to paint all the shadowing and lines and everything. And that's just how my artist brain is gravitates to as far as what I like to do myself, and to see it being executed so well is just, so those are the top 3, because that's what stands out to me right now in my life right now.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. Those are my favorite too, along with Maddox McCullough from Ball Pit Nails. She's the same way too, for a lot of cartoon characters. Her work is amazing.
Yes. Definitely cartoon characters and the illustrated stuff too. I love doing that. I say Nails by Deb does the same thing. It's a lot of the pop art, cartoon, illustrated stuff, and that's hard to do too. And that is challenging to do too, to paint something and make it look like what it's supposed to look like. Definitely. So that was a good one too. That's a hard question. That is a hard question.
Yeah. There's a lot of very great nail artists. I like how you mentioned Spifster, because Spifster has her own style, like how you said, that Jean-Michel Basquiat, but it has that geometric graffiti type style. So I like that about with Spifster. And I like with her also too, she's transitioned into doing her own deco spiff, her own kind of stuff like that. So she's taking her art style into different avenues. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. No, and being a nail artist and being in the nail industry, you have a love and passion for it, but eventually you want to evolve. Eventually you start thinking of other things, what you can do, other things you can paint. Because when you get into nails, you don't get into nails. Well, maybe. I think from an artist perspective, because I just think art first, nail second. That
me too.
You're going to want to paint it on nails, but then you're always going to be, pulled back to what inspired you just to paint in general, just to create an image on a surface at any point. So when I see that is refreshing, and that makes me think okay, I can always do nails, but there's always these other avenues that I can take my art and take, my creativity. But then it comes back to nails, because that's how we found her. She was, doing, stuff before that. And then her artistry in nail art, is how we all recognize and know her. And then it's no, but there's more.
And
that's inspiring. And the same thing with Gracie J, because she does the same thing. So, you know what I mean? And she's turned it into a more, I guess it's more fashion, more visual art, as far as sharing something online. And then even if you printed that out and posted it and put it on it and put it in a poster, like it's the same thing. It's that stuff, like that aesthetic of even just what is like, I guess like high fashion in a way, like how you see a poster, you see an image or a graphic design and you want it, have it hanging. Like she does that with nails too. You want what she posted, you can very easily frame that and hang that on your wall, and that is art in itself. Not just the set, but the way that it's presented is also a piece of art that you can hang on your wall.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. Like with Gracie J, like she's a very awesome like content creator, but also I love her minimalistic nail art designs. And the thing about her designs, it always tells a story. You know, I love how she set up like, you know, like a certain scene for the nail art and stuff like that. But also she's getting into like beverages. I like that kind of
But it works. It works. Like the colors go together. There's so much work that goes into putting that together. Right. Like what pieces are you going to put? How are you going to frame it? How are you going to put the lighting? What, like, no, that is what music, everything is thought to detail and executed and put into this whole little package. And that started with nails. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it is absolutely incredible. So what has been your whole experience having your own nail studio?
It is, I prefer it, and I think that maybe that's the ultimate goal for everyone. So the studio that we have is a co-op. So when I came back to Phoenix, Summer opened Stash House AZ, and then she asked me to join, and then now I've become like a partner as far as this is how we want to run a studio. We think about it like Andy Warhol's factory, right? It's just this big house, and we call it the house. It's a house, and that, you know, it houses all these artists, and we have our individual entities and our identities and our businesses and however we want to run it ourselves, for ourselves, but then also as a community. So it's like you walk in this space and it's a community of, you know, nail artists, and we're all doing our own thing, but we're also doing it as a co-op together, because we're running this as like, you know, you can come to Phoenix and you can come into this nail salon and you know that you're going to be, you know, your service is going to be done by an artist, and it's not just going to be just the one color. I mean, you can, but just the one color, or, you know, just a pedicure, just a French tip. And that was my ultimate goal when I started doing nails. I didn't see myself being a nail tech. I went to school for psychology. I wanted to be a therapist, or I wanted to do psychological studies. And I am a little bit of a therapist, but I knew that if I was going to do nails, and if I was going to do it for myself, I didn't want to do a walk-in shop. I didn't want to be in a place where I couldn't express myself and be myself and take time to do the nail art and take up the time that takes time to do a good set. You know, some of these walk-in places, I understand the hustle. The school that I went to definitely opened my eyes as far as how walk-in shops work. A lot of people don't come to America to do nails as their first choice. This is their opportunity to get work, to provide for their family. This is a trade that they were taught. So that way they have an opportunity to be, you know, just the way anyone just from like my parents, you know, they were farm workers. They came, they, you know, did housekeeping. They came and they did construction. So for the school that I went to was taught in Vietnamese and taught in English. And a lot of, you know, people who came from Vietnam, they were office workers. They, you know, they did corporate jobs, and they learned like, this is what's going to bring me, you know, this is what's going to bring me a sustainable life in America. I'm going to learn to do nails, and then maybe I'll do something else after. So that walk-in experience isn't going to be someone who's, oh, what do I want to try on somebody's nails today? What art do I want to paint? Do I want to try this shape? Do I want to try that shape? You're not going to get that experience. So for those of us who actually started that and started thinking as far as like, this is what I want to do and where I want to be, the best place to work in a nail studio is if you're going to do it by yourself, either renting out a room. A lot of places are doing like salon suites now, which is a little hard if you're just going to be by yourself and building your clientele. So what we've created in the dynamic that we run our shop, I think it's ideal. We have new girls right now who just started, who finished nail school. They went to nail school in the middle of the pandemic, are still, just got their license, just started working in like these nail bars. And I say nail bars because it's not a walk-in experience. It's a little bit of both. You do these memberships and, they want to do these gel manicures and present it to you like, you're treating yourself. At the same time, the artists aren't being treated like artists. They're being treated like trade workers. Like, okay, this is what you went to school for, and then this is what you're going to do, and you're going to do it the way I want you to do it, and you're going to deal with the client the way we tell you to deal with the client. You can't express yourself. You can't take this much time on art. We don't want to offer A, B, or C services.
Right.
But with us, you can. You can, but because it is also in a shared community and in a shop together, it gives everyone that opportunity to learn and grow and to, bounce ideas off each other, learn what the other person's doing next to you, kind of continually always evolving your art and involving like what's trending, what are people doing, what are clients wanting. And when you create a space like that, if you know that Stash House is a place to go to get your nails done and to get nail art, that if they show you a photo, we can make that happen, then the artists who come here are going to also get that type of thing. I've seen where the artist before, if you looked at their page or you looked at their portfolio of work, it doesn't really reflect what they are capable of doing because they were limited by the shops that they worked at before. You come to Stash House, our clientele already have that expectation as far as, I went to Adri, I went to Chica for this, for this many years, and the other nail artists there have been doing it for a minute and they've been doing that, but their books are closed and we can't get in. But no, wait, they added more artists and they're only going to add more artists who can do this type of art. So then the new artists are also now growing in their skill and talent because they are being presented with the stuff that they want to paint and what they want to do. I like that. I feel like that is the most ideal thing to do if you're going to run a shop with nail artists instead of doing commission or employee. It is challenging though. It is not, I'm not going to say it's easy as far as if you are starting by yourself, then that means you are not just, learning to do nails and work on your skill and work on your art. You are also having to run your own business, run your own books, do your promoting. Yes, we do that for you as far as, look at our new artists, look what they can do, but you need to give us the content. You need to be able to show us that what can you do so we can share with, our clientele and the following that we have already, that you can keep up and that you want to be able to do this. But I still would take that over, starting in a walk-in shop. And a lot of the girls have, and it gives them that experience as far as what they don't want, the things that they, either the ways that they don't want to be treated, the hours they don't want to work, the services they're not comfortable doing, the clientele or customer service, or the way, some salons are a little old-fashioned as far as the way they think making money is going to be. But then when you're working for yourself and you have those of us who've already gone through that same thing, we are here to like teach each other, like, okay, what's going to be the best way to make this work for us as far as running a business, growing, doing nails the way we want, and having, connections or relationships with clients that is going to keep us ongoing and don't know how to explain it. I think I've explained it enough. I can keep talking. I did not expect to keep talking.
But I want to get into like working with clients. So what has been your whole experience working with clients as well? Like, do you have like creative freedom, or do they ask you like what they want on their nails? So how does that work when you're working with clients?
A lot of my clients, well, all my clients are regulars now because I did close my book. So what happened in the beginning though, I created a lot of sets or a lot of things like that inspired me and painted just to show this is what I can do. So what I noticed is it's a mix versus, well, what it was then and what it is now. It's a mix. I get clients who are just happy to be in a chair and to be able to show me a picture that they can get painted. Like even if it's like a pattern from a piece of clothing, or if it's another set that they really wanted to do because they're following artists from other states or cities or whatever, and they bring it in and then I recreate it, or I put my spin on it. So it kind of starts off with, let me test this out. Let me see, can you really do what I want you to do? So it starts off with a lot of inspo, a lot of online inspo that my clients bring in. And then as we start getting to know each other, I start to know your style, because my clientele is like all over the place. So I don't really execute a specific style for myself. I kind of can just give you what you want and make it look as far as something that I would still wear on my nails. It starts off with a lot of that. And then as we get comfortable, then I have like my really good long, like from the beginning, from the time that I started working at Stash to now, they come in and they don't even pick a color or pick a shape. They just sit there. And as long as they book for the amount of art, I have like 10 different, maybe 11 different nail art options, because I do a lot. I do a lot of different things. So it's like, just pick one and then we'll work in the time, we'll work in that budget, and you tell me, and then if it's not that, my other really good, I think probably my favorite thing that I like what clients do is like, you bring me an idea. It's like, okay, today I want you to paint, outer space. Okay. And that's it. They don't have a photo that they want me to go off of, or they want something tropical. Like I'm going to go to Hawaii and I want some flowers, and that's it. So it's like, you give me an idea of where I can take it, and then I'll sit there and I'll look at, photos online. Okay, do I want to paint this flower? Do I want to use these colors? Do I want to execute these patterns together and put it together? That is probably my favorite thing to do when clients, or they bring me a picture of maybe just a picture of their favorite, like, anime character or cartoon character or something like that. Because I do paint a lot of faces. Say faces are probably my favorite. So if it is an image or a style from like, say Patrick Nagel, just like, oh, I want something like in that realm, paint some faces like those girls, or, I want an 80s design. Okay, well, do I want to do like, Yoko Honda, or do I want to do vaporwave? Do I want to do this? So if you just give me an idea and then I run with it, that is probably my favorite, because then at least I know where to take it today, instead of just starting from scratch. Starting from scratch was cool in the beginning, but now, because you get a little burnt out a little bit. You do, creating and having to make your brain think. I do anywhere from 4 to 7 clients a day, and I'm at work 5 days a week. So, by Wednesday, I'm like, okay, do I have to think of something again today? And at first it sounded ideal, but you really don't realize like that takes a lot of brain power to create constantly. So it does. It's nice to have that balance of, let me have the creative freedom, but you know what? If you have your set picked out today and you have the colors already ranged, then I'm still getting to paint. I'm still getting to do that for you, but I can at least, keep it on cruise control for that hour or two.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now, how do you go about pricing like your nail service? Do you charge by the hour? Do you charge by length of the nails? Like, how do you go about pricing nail services?
That is a good question, because that is something that I've always had an issue with. And just recently, literally just this week, I decided to raise my prices and actually charge for what things are. So everything on my menu is a la carte. And that's the best way that I can think of how to do it. So if you want you pick your base, whether it's, a gel manicure, overlay fill, or a spray. And I do, my gel manicures and my overlays are all short to medium, like short to active length. And if you want long, then you get a spray. And then that's all priced by length. And then art is definitely priced by intricacy. And I think that's why I have like 11 nail options. And a lot of people tell me that's a lot, but it's like, if you really think about it, a French tip and having 1 or 2 designs, or having 10 designs, 2 really intricate designs, 10 simple designs, 10, mix match where it's, a couple, I call it my filler art. So it's like, you'll have, a character space on one nail, and then the other ones are like the filler art. So maybe some twinkles, or maybe some, simple 2-colored leaves, or some line work. And then you have your complex, and then you have your portrait. And because I do it all, so I definitely price it all. And I say that's the best way to do it. Some people do packages where it's like you lump it together, but because I paint so many different things, I do it a la carte. And that's worked the best for me, because then the client knows this is how much time it's going to take to do something, this simple or intricate. And then this is how much I'm going to pay as far as base price. And then it could go up. I have all my services labeled from that base price and up, because sometimes, because it is art, does come easy for me, and I make it look easy. Like, oh yeah, she can do that. And like, yeah, I can do that. But at the same time, I am now in that hour of time where I could have done one specific style of art. You've added all these other little details that you want me to add in there. I can do it, but now I'm going to rush it in there, and I'm going to get it done because I like a challenge. So I do that to myself all the time. That's probably why there is a little bit of burnout. But now I know, charge it, because you can do it in that time doesn't mean that it makes it any less worth the worth the skill, or worth the talent, or worth the time. Even if you do it quick, you learned and you put in those hours to make it quick, and to be able to have a service done in that amount of time, that it didn't take you 2 hours to do it, that you were able to do it in an hour, or you were able to do it in 20 minutes, and you made it look good, but you spent all those hours and days before learning how to do it, so you can price it. So I don't do it on time, because some of the things that I've learned to do quickly, I didn't. How do I say it? Because I really do want to be humble about it, but I've learned that there's some places and there's some people who can't do it, or do it the way that I've done it and the way that I've learned to do it. And that's why people are coming to me, asking me for this specific, style of work. And I learned to do that quickly. And just because it's easy for me, and just because I can do it quick, doesn't mean that I shouldn't price it that way.
Right.
And I was doing that in the beginning. So I was like, I can do, tortoiseshell or marble in, 15, 20 minutes. Like, I shouldn't pay for that. I shouldn't have clients pay for that. And then I realized, like, they're going to these other places who are, it is more challenging for the artist to do it, or the nail techs to do it. So they're charging, twice, triple the price that I charge, because I just like, oh, well, no, that's easy. I can do that in 15 minutes. But that skill and that, you know, that's why that, you know, the client came to me, I should charge for that. But then, so that's why I don't charge for time. But my sets do take time. Art does take time. So I'm not gonna not incorporate that in my services as well. And as far as putting that on the menu and charging that price for it.
Right, exactly. Now, what are some of the best platforms in terms of booking clients? Like whether it's Booksy or StyleSeat, like what would you consider to be like the best booking platforms for someone who wants to book clients?
That, oh my God, that is a struggle. That is a struggle right now that we're dealing with as a shop. Because there's pros and cons to every booking site. I did do StyleSeat for a minute, and then I saw other artists starting to use Booksy, and there were things that I didn't like that the platform that StyleSeat used as far as what booking was. I think it was one of the things where they were sending you they would send the clients notifications that if they paid an extra $10 or if they wanted to bid, then they could get in sooner, or they could get like a special time or something like that. I think that works better. A lot of these, I noticed a lot of these booking sites aren't really made with nail techs in mind. Yeah, they know nail techs can use it. They know nail artists can use it, but it's not with us in mind. A lot of the things that I've noticed, the features on them would work better for a hairdresser, would work better for somebody who can stagger or stack their appointments.
Right.
And so with StyleSeat, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. They could get in, you know, somebody who wants a cut in the middle of their appointment, because if they're going to dye someone's hair while it's processing, they can get it cut in. That's not going to work with us. And I didn't like, there were certain extra charges that they were, well, the fact that they were having clients, you know, if they wanted to bid higher for the booking,
right,
it didn't go to me. It went to StyleSeat, because StyleSeat was bringing me clients. So they want to take a certain percent off of bringing me clients that were my already existing clients, or that I put on StyleSeat in order to book with me.
Right.
So I switched to Booksy. Booksy I like the best so far. The only thing is, because maybe I think it's like a year, 2 years old, they're always doing updates on it. And I know maybe the updates are trying to, you know, figure out what's the best way to have the site running. But some of the updates are a little bit inconvenient as far as, you know, if there's like, not that it crashes, but it freezes, or it's not working the way I want it to work, or the way that it's charging the client gets tricky. The way I charged a client last week now isn't the same way I charge a client this week, because they've updated it, or they changed it, or they're trying to change their POS system.
Right.
But Booksy is what I use. There's a couple artists who use Square. There's a couple artists who use Gloss Genius. We're still trying to figure out the best one that's going to work. And I think it varies on the artist too, because I offer so many services. Booksy gives me that ability to sit there, and it has their logistics behind the scenes is really well, because it has a lot of the extra stuff, but that's if you're that person who's thinking of all those things to do for your business. But if you're new, I've noticed a lot of people use Square because it's really simple. But then also trying to uphold policies, you know, which I think is very important for an artist to do, is enforce policies, whether it's a late cancellation or a no-show fee or a deposit. So using a booking app is definitely essential, because in the beginning, you're going to run into those problems where a client no-shows you or they cancel last minute. Running your own business, you do have to do that. You do have to think of, you're the one who's going to be, you know, you're the front face of having to communicate with clients. Maybe you can get an assistant, maybe you can get a front desk person, but when you're running it yourself, having a booking site definitely does alleviate a lot of that, you know, extra work. It's just finding the right booking site. And that is, I can't say that I found the best one yet. I think they're still trying to figure it out. And I think it's definitely not made with nail artist in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. Now, I want to get into nail education. What is your take on nail education or beauty education in general, and how could it be improved?
That's kind of like the same thing with the booking app. I don't think that like nail education, I think I just had a great time in nail school because I was just excited to get my nail license, but it's not, nail education and beauty education is taught to you so that way it's presented to you as a trade. So it's taught to you like, okay, you're going to learn the very basics of this because you're going to go work for someone, and that business or that person is going to be the one to, run it down for you. And I heard it a lot in nail school, like, no, it's okay if you don't get it now, if you don't do this now, when you work at a nail salon, they'll teach you. And I didn't have that in mind for myself. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that is great. If if you're not worried, just pass the test because you're going to go to a nail salon and they'll teach you. And that's not what we're doing now. And that's not what we're doing with people who are going into nail school to get their license. They're not doing it just for a trade. I'm just going to learn how to do something so I can just go, work and pay bills. No, you're going to do this. And it's funny because you see the commercials like, do you want to follow your passion and do what your, goal is and blah, blah, blah. Right. And then you get there and this isn't it. This isn't going to ignite my passion or make me feel like I have the tools to go and, it's definitely presented like this is something that you're just going to learn to do and somebody else is going to teach you how to incorporate it into your work life. It would, because if you think about it, like if somebody is going to go and I guess it's not taken as serious because it is a trade. So it's not like going to college, you're getting your degree and being a doctor or being a teacher, or so you don't get, you just get so many hours, which is a couple of months. But then I've noticed like in other countries, like Japan or Russia or Korea, if you do want to learn how to do nails, they're not just teaching you to get your license and then to go be taught by a salon. They're teaching you to be skilled. You have to be skilled and talented and do this because if you're going to get your license and do it, they're teaching you to be skilled. They're teaching you how to be good at it.
Right.
I'd say nail education now isn't teaching you to be good at it. They're just teaching you to pass the test. And then you figure out if you're good at it or not.
Right.
So I think that definitely needs to be incorporated because you really don't. I think that's what took me so long to even get my license, because I thought about it. I was having so much fun in doing nail art for my friends and family. And I thought about, well, one day maybe I can work in a salon or figure out how I want to work in a salon. I always wanted to work in a salon that was like a tattoo shop. Like I'm going to work in a nail salon and it's kind of funny because that's kind of how it's worked now, that we teach or we treat, becoming a nail technician almost as an art, as far as what you want to do for yourself and do for others and running a business.
Right.
But it's not treated that way in nail school, that you're not taught the tools on how you're going to be able to be good at it and run a business off of it. Mm-hmm. You have to figure out that yourself. And that's why I didn't go to nail school for the longest, because I didn't want to get my nail license and then work in a walk-in shop and not be able to do nails the way that I was doing nails at home, or being allowed to take the time to do the nails that I wanted or run it for myself. I knew that if I was going to do nails, I didn't want to work for someone and do do something, do a craft. How can you go to a school where you learn a trade, but you want this trade because this is your passion and this is what you want to do. This is your craft. This is how you want to make a living for yourself. And this is a choice you made to go and spend money and time, at a college or at a beauty school, but they're not going to teach you how to integrate it into your life. They're just going to teach you what the basics are of doing it. And then you decide, okay, now I know how to do the basics. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I know I like doing it. Now I have to go figure it out in the world of whatever, businesses will let me work there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely not made with the fundamentals or the logistics of what it takes to incorporate that in the work life and working for yourself and being successful at it.
Yeah, I could definitely agree. It doesn't teach you how to be skilled, like how you said before. Like you look at Europe and Asia, they teach you how to be skilled.
Yes,
it's not just the basics. And I look at people like that are from Europe or from Asia, whether it's Japan or Korea, and you see these immaculate nail designs. And plus, they also prep, probably so for competitions as well, because there's no competition around the world. So you see like these immaculate, cool, out the box nail designs. And I think most definitely it should be improved with here, that whole aspect of being prepared and being skilled, that's definitely needs to be improved more.
Yeah. When I went to nail school, I was already painting and doing nail art, and I already had like my Tumblr and my Instagram, and I had a few thousand followers. And that's when and that was a big deal. 10 years ago? When did I get my nail license? Like 8 years ago. But that was a big deal for the nail school because they were teaching just the basics. And then for extra points, we would get, if you wanted to incorporate nail art, you would get extra, points, because you would have to get so many points in the day. And doing your points, the point like grid system, and how they did it was, you had to do so many, so many nails where you, did an overlay or did an extension or did the silk wrap, and then you would paint it. And then so many times you would have to do a manicure on a hand and you get so many points. But then if you wanted extra points or double points on your like manicure points, they called them, you could do nail art. And when they did, it was like a 30-minute segment on nail art. They brought out not even a striping tool. They just brought out the dotting tools, and then they did, 5-dot flower and just some swoops. And they're like, okay, this is the basics. If you want to learn anything more, you got to figure it out for yourself. And, there's YouTube and blah, blah, blah. That's how they explained it to us. But I was already into nail art. I was getting my license because this was already after Nailgasm. So I was already just, painting nail art and going into school with nail art on my nails. And they didn't know that. And then the teacher started to see the stuff that I was painting for extra points. And they're like, you painted this? And I'm like, yes, I painted it. Like, this is why I came to nail school, because I want to do nail art. Like, would you mind teaching a nail art class? And I was like, no, like, that's fine. And the class itself, because it was it was almost like a cafeteria sized classroom. It was split. It was just one big open floor plan. So one half was the cosmetology students, and they would practice on the hair and the mirrors. And the other half was just tables, kind of like cafeteria tables. They would fold them over, and that's where we sat to read our books and to do the take our notes and do the studies. So then in that class, she brought out a projector, and she had one of the other girls model. And she's like, do you think, she had, prepped me, I think the day or two before. She's like, just come up with 5 nail art ideas, have them already painted, and then show the students how to paint those designs. And when I painted it, it was so funny because a lot of the students were just like, you painted that? This is what you painted? Like, those are competition nails. That's not nail art. Who's going to ask for that? I'm like, people are going to ask for that. Like, they were so blown away because they're like, people are going to come into the nail shop and ask for those, when I go, when I leave nail school and I go work in a nail salon, they're going to ask for these nails. I'm like, well, they're asking me for these nails. That's why I'm here. I want to get my license because I want to produce these nails.
Right.
And that was 8 years ago. So I don't know what nail art school or nail school is now, how they incorporate even nail art, because nail art has become so common. It's almost asked from the nail tech almost every set.
Right.
I would assume. So it's like, okay, well, I hope they're at least incorporating that, because that wasn't even thought of. They just were like, okay, we're going to teach you some 5-dots flowers and some swoops. And if you want to learn anything else, YouTube it. And then when they saw that I already knew how to do it, they had me teach the whole class on how to do it. And so I don't know what it's like now, but I really hope that they've figured it out. That actually gives me an idea. Maybe I should reach out to the nail schools here. Like, are you guys teaching nail art yet? Do I need to go up in there and like do a session? Because it's true. That's
right.
definitely not. They're not even equipping you with that. And when you get out, if you go into, the nail industry and you start working, people are going to want nail designs.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely, but I think now, at least with people who are going into nail school, they already have that passion and that drive, or they already have that idea. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to do nails anyway. So they're already learning and practicing. And the outlets that we have now are totally different. I've noticed like the girls that when they start working now, or the artists when they start working now, how good they are and how quick they're getting at being as good as they are. I feel like it took me years to get to a certain skill level. And now, these artists are fresh out of school and they're doing things that I didn't even know how to do yet. Or these are designs, or there's like all this inspo that we didn't have. And now it's like all over Instagram, all over, whatever, social media outlets that they're using, and they're getting these photos off of. I didn't have that. And now they have that. And now they're like, getting better faster, and they're building up their skills and their talent like way faster than I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely grown. It's definitely gotten faster as far as what clients' expectations are and what artists' expectations are.
Right, exactly. Now, what would you consider to be like your favorite nail products, as well as like your favorite nail brushes to use when doing nail art?
Anything. Presto was a big one for me in the beginning. A lot of Japanese brands were a big one for me in the beginning. But what I'm using right now at this moment, I still have a Manal brush that I still use, but the Nails by Dev collection, her nail art brushes collection, and then a colleague of mine, Lieb Nails, he just came out with his own, it's a duo set. So there's 2 duo sets. So you got a long liner brush and a little liner brush and an ombre brush, and then just a flat like gel applicator brush. And that works really good. That little liner brush and that ombre brush from Lieb are like my go-to, and then the striper brush from Dev are my go-to. I seriously use those 3 on everything that I do. As far as like nail products or gel products, like the standard ones, like the name brands that I use a lot, or that I also, just because I have like these companies send me stuff to try it and I actually like it, is like the Easy Flow, Orly, and then if it's like, or the Apres products I like using. Of course, that's how I do my extensions now. I said goodbye to acrylic a long time ago. I messed up my back, so that definitely changed and altered how I did nails, and I wanted to keep doing it. So I started doing Apres. I love it. My clients love it. Japanese gels are still my favorite. Vitro still my favorite for like full coverage and for nail art. But there's so many products now. Now that people are coming out left and right. You can't even keep up with, and you want to buy it all. Like you want, and it's that's the same thing too. Like what I started with the gel products that we had back then were all watery and runny and, would bleed all over the place. And now like the, opaqueness and viscosity of all these gels are so much better now. And there's so many products out there. I feel like I'm learning every day about a product. I have a whole nail album of just nail products that I want to save and buy from like different artists that I'm seeing all over the place. A lot of them are I feel like the top ones are still the Japanese and Korean nail, at least the gel brands.
Right.
A lot of companies they're catching up. They're figuring it out. It's still trial and error with some of them, but no, there's a lot of good products out there now.
Yeah. It's so crazy. There's so many products out like that you could try. Like the possibilities are like endless. And plus too, there's so many like nail art styles getting more conceptual, especially nails coming together, like fashion designers collaborating with nail artists. That's amazing.
No, and you could literally put anything on a nail.
Right.
Like you could put anything on a nail as long as you have some like structure gel and some nail glue, or even now there's like gel glue and like all these rhinestone glues, and you're not just having to use just like the old, sometimes back in the day, sometimes I was just using just straight up, super glue. Don't recommend it now, but now there's all these products that are like, it's evolved so much and you can do so much as far as like chromes and foils and the flash gels and the cat eye gels and the I still want to try it. One of my favorite things that I've noticed now, and I don't really do a lot of like trend stuff, but is like the 3D bubble gel. So they're doing all the little curves and like the blobs and like that's like that gets the part of my brain going, that because I like replicating so much of what an object is and what it looks like, but this is definitely more abstract. This is definitely more just like futuristic shapes and colors and hues. And now you can have like these 3D crazy things on your nails. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like people are going back to like the 90s, 2000 style nails. That it's so crazy how like these trends are coming back. And I feel like with the chrome like blob nails, it kind of reminds me of like those certain music videos like in the 90s or 2000s. Especially in hip-hop where they had that chrome.
No, it does. Yeah, definitely. It's like oh my gosh, was it like Missy Elliott or like Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson? TLC. Like you have like they're inside, like why did everything look like it was inside a cheese grater? Like, but it's not just what it was, like the chrome and the background and the shininess, and it was a lot. There was a lot of like that futuristic inspo, and you do see it on nails now. Yep. This is true.
Yeah. And also I'm like seeing like the gradient nails that people do. Also like the alternative French, the conceptual nails. Like there's this guy named Juan Avelier, like he does like these conceptual like nail designs, and it's like really, really cool.
Juan Avelier. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. There's like this other guy, this Japanese guy that does conceptual too, and his stuff is really, really, really cool. I forgot his name, but I'll send his name.
Find it, send it to me.
But his stuff is really, really cool. So I just like how much the nail industry has evolved, like art wise. So it's unlimited. There's so many possibilities.
It is. It really is. I think I have that on my bio for my on my booking site. It's just like nail art for endless inspiration, because it is, or unlimited inspiration. It is. It's always evolving. There's always something you can put on your nail, even if it is just recycling something that did happen, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and then it's come back, but then there's always a different twist or way to add it to it. I love it. It's going to keep me busy, and it's going to keep me wanting to keep doing it, because there's always a different way to do it. And then the community is so wide, because from city to city, there's different trends. From city to city, from state to state, whatever they may be doing on one coast or what they may be doing on another coast. But because of social media, we have that same, we have the plug to see what other people are doing, and then bringing it to you, bringing it to your clients and trying those styles out. There's like multiple trends going on at the same time, depending on what city you're in. And then too, I've noticed there's trends like that happen between the nail art community. There's been stuff that we've seen because we like it, and this is what we like to paint and do.
Right.
And then you see maybe months or a year later, the clients are asking for it. And they're like, oh, I want to do this new trend. And where people are like, we did that like 2 years ago. And I will literally go back on my, we did this. But like amongst us who are like fanatics in nail art, or, amongst us who are in the industry or the community, no, we did it. And now clients are catching up and now they want to do it too. And I think that's what made it, at least made it for us, for people in the industry or people wanting to join the industry, is like, no, this is from us growing up in, certain demographics. That's always been part of our identity. Now it's being introduced to new communities, new people, or whatever's trending from whatever celebrity or whatever.
Right.
But that's also a thing for, like, I say the public, like, oh no, y'all want to do this too now? You guys see it, and you've seen what we've been seeing, what got us into this to begin with. Right. And then it's like, oh, okay, now there's a bigger audience for it and bigger demand for it. So that's definitely changed the industry too, and changed the way we run our salons, the way we run our business, the way we go to school, the way we want to promote ourselves. It's just, it's all connected. It's all connected, and it's all evolving, all within, I've seen it within the last 10 years, just like completely changed.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely agree with that. Now, in the art aspect, do you do like paintings as well, or you just do like just nail art? So do you do like paintings or digital illustrations,
I paint. I took a break on commissions, but that's how it started. I was drawing and painting as a kid. That was always, my thing. I said I was going to be an artist when I was a kid. And so that's always been a part of my life. And then when I got into nails and nail school and starting off, doing nails for myself, I didn't, I kind of took a break on it because it was so much of a hyper focus on being good at what I do and bringing in the clientele and doing the nail art on, that was my main focus. I didn't have the energy or the creative thought to do any other art. And then I brought it back into my life. So now I do both. But when I am really busy, I'm not doing art at home because it's, you burn out. Your brain needs to like stop being creative for a moment. And then it comes back. So I do, and my painting at home is all over the place. I do get inspired. Like the painting I have here, I painted it. It's a Frida inspired photo. So it's a replica, but at least because I liked her painting style, her brush strokes and the color she used, I just wanted to try it. Like, what if I were to grab the paints and try to do it the same way she did it? Not because I want to copy her, but just to grasp that style of pushing the colors together and making it look that certain way. And then so I do that all with the same way at home. It's always going to be art. It's always going to be art first, nail second. And I'm just lucky that it actually worked out, that it came together and I have, a career off of it.
Yeah. I'm art first, nail second. I got into art since I was in second grade. So I'm artist first, even before I did my own podcast, I'm an artist first. I love being creative. I love working with my hands. So yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah. And I think it kind of gets in the way a little bit, but then now I've realized that maybe that's what's made me successful in my business or as a nail tech, is because I'm an artist and people seek me as an artist and not just as a nail tech.
Right.
And so it is for artists out there. And I'm not that it's, here's a way to make money off of your art, but at the same time, it is a much needed outlet.
Right.
To be able to produce that art. Because you go through stages in life where I just want to produce art and do all this art back to back.
Right.
And so it is a good industry to be in if you want to keep doing that.
Right. Absolutely. Now, how would you define success in your perspective?
That changes all the time. But I think what I've been able to narrow it down to, because when we think of success, we think of, or generally speaking, or what not even generally speaking, that's a bad way to say it, but I guess what, like the media or what, our, upbringing is, if you're successful, then that means you have this a certain amount of income, the certain amount of number that you've reached. Now it's being measured. We have all these scales of measuring success as far as, you're going to have this certain, if you go into some career field or if you go after some type of goal of what you're going to want to do with your life or yourself, then you're going to have a house and a car, and you're going to have so much money in your bank account, and you're going to have so much recognition from all these people. And now we have social media is thrown in there, and you're going to have all these followers and you have to have all these likes, but that's not success, because you can't get success as far as like my social media, like my posts and stuff have plateaued, because I'm not sharing or producing the content that's getting the, it's not working with the algorithm anymore. But what I have done for myself is successful.
Right.
I wanted to do nails, and I wanted to incorporate nail art in nails. That was why I wanted to do nails. I wanted to do nail art. I wanted to paint designs and do what I love, because art was a passion. This was a way to execute it. This was a way to produce it. I went to nail school. I got my license. I didn't want to work in a walk-in salon, so I met the right people and worked with the right people and created this co-op. And now I am a part of a salon that I had in my head 10 years ago when Ayla interviewed me for Nailgasm. I was saying, I want to work in a salon where it's just, a bunch of artists in a room, and we're like tattoo artists. Like, we just come to work and we just do what we want for ourselves, and we have cool music and art on the walls, and I'm here. I'm already doing that. And it's, you know what I mean? Maybe my bank account isn't what I want it to be, but I have a sustainable life. I am producing art. I have great clientele. My books are full. Like, that's kind of why I let, life happens. You have other things that you need to focus on. So once I saw my books are full, I can close my books. I kind of let my Instagram plateau, but that's not what I see as success as far as how many likes or how many views I'm getting or how many shares or what the content is, because I look at my books for the next couple of months, and I am booked back to back. My clients are returning. They love my stuff. We're still producing art, and that's a success in itself. So if you are reaching your goals, but then you are also able to appreciate your goals being met. Because how can we could look at somebody and say they are a success, they have all these achievements under their belt, they must have, that's a success story for them. They started from A, went to B, and now they're at Z. Right. But they are so busy, they're not enjoying life. They, don't have a good personal life, a good relationship, their mental health is deteriorating or whatever. But no, they have all these likes, they have this amount in their bank account, and they, that's not a success, because you achieved all these things, but you can't even enjoy it or appreciate it. So success is different for everyone. If you are reaching the goals that you've set out for yourself, but you are also able to live in the moment and enjoy and bask in the achievements that you've done, then that's a success. And then if you keep adding to it, if you keep learning and wanting to grow and to continue it and take that in different avenues and go, we don't have to be a certain age to meet them. We don't have to be live a certain lifestyle to meet them. As long as you are setting these goals, reaching them, no matter how long it takes or what it takes to get there. And if you are able to sit and, and enjoy what you have done for yourself and look back for yourself. This was a question that I didn't even realize. I pondered it last night and then this morning and in the shower, and I was like, I got it. This is how I'm going to be able to explain it, because it is when you're so busy reaching for that goal and trying to be successful and trying to be like, this is what I'm going to be.
Right.
Having the skill and talent isn't going to make you successful. It is setting those goals and going for it and achieving it is what's going to be successful. If you've achieved a goal, that is your success. If you are just talented and skilled, but you haven't done anything with it, then where is your success as far as that you've overcome something or accomplished something? And try not to be hard on yourself, because you get so busy into thinking that you have to be so good at a certain time. We are hard on ourselves because we think we have to be so productive in a day. We have to produce so much, a certain amount of like quality, good stuff. And that's not how success works. Sometimes you have your bad days. Sometimes you go days to where you're like, yeah, those, that was nice. I produced these things and, people were happy with it, but I'm not happy with it. That's not where I see myself. And you have to let that go. Success does not look like that. Success does not look like every day you're just continuously going up and doing all these great things. I've had moments where I had, I had to take a step back for my mental health, because I was just constantly grinding and hustling and being like, okay, I have to get this in. I have to get this many clients in. I need to get my time faster. I need to be able to produce this amount of art in a day, this amount of sets in a day. I have to make this certain amount of money in a day. And that looked like success on the outside, but I was miserable because I was burnt out. So now I can say, if you're just enjoying the goals that you've set, and it is a nice feeling to get recognition for it, but don't rely on recognition. And not everyone's going to see what you're doing or share what you're doing. And don't let that get you down, because even if it's not to the degree of what you're thinking your work needs to be at to be recognized, somebody's looking, somebody's watching, somebody's inspired by it. A lot of people are inspired by it. Like the same way you're inspired by someone else, like they're thinking that same thing that you're thinking for yourself.
Right.
That is the honest truth. That is it. And you think they're a success, so why isn't your work a success too? You put in those same hours, you put in that same amount of work and hustle and blood, sweat, and tears, and you have your craft and you're enjoying it and you're doing that. That is a success in itself. Just enjoy it. Once you enjoy it, that's a success. You've already got it done. And I'll keep going, add more goals, and then see what else you can, add to your belt, as long as you're enjoying it.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I think within our generation, we get so caught up with social media and comparing ourselves to other people, and especially with pop culture too, looking at what they got, and they got millions of dollars, stuff like that. People look at the glitz and glamour, but it's like, no, there's struggle behind it. There's hard work behind that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. So it's not only just enjoying the journey, but it's embracing the journey too. And like how you said, take a step back, don't be so hard on yourself, but also too, I think with that pressure too, I think it's not just internally, but sometimes like it could be our parents, our coworkers pressuring us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's why, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Like, oh, we got to do, our very best. I don't feel this is the best and stuff like that. So, I think that's where that stems from too. So it's just going to take a step back and, and enjoy the fruits of your labor, like how you said before.
Yeah, that I know that's always been a thing, is like you want to make either your family proud, your parents proud, your spouse proud. You want to make sure whatever you're doing looks good to the people around you. Like, right. Look at what I'm doing. This is on the right track and I'm doing that. But we can be, and I've noticed that I've become more honest with myself and in sharing it. And that is also what I feel like I can say is a success, and that we'll notice with, I say, like, say a celebrity, just to use a, as a reference. It's like, or I would say celebrity because in the beginning, you don't know much about them or their personal lives, and not that you need to know, but they've achieved a certain amount of work under their belt that they can actually be themselves or express who they are and what they do, and speak a certain way. You're not having to. That's why a lot of artists let go of certain managers or contracts or labels or whatever, because when they joined, they wanted to join because they had this passion, right? They wanted to sing, they wanted to act, and then they did all the things that they had to do to get them to there. And then once they reached, they're like, no, I can let you guys go because you're not serving me in my best self, in my authentic self. And then you see this evolution of what these people are doing in their careers now, because it's what they want to do, and they're expressing themselves the same way they want to do. And that is, for me, that is a level of success, because you are able to put yourself in your work, but then also be yourself in your work. So I say in the beginning, when it came to bringing a certain clientele in, you want to speak a certain way, you want to talk a certain way, you don't want to. And in our shop, that's not really how it works anyways. And that's why a lot of us are in the shop. We are together. We play the music we want. We talk about the topics we want. We speak the way we want. We use whatever lingo or cuss words. It's just we're ourselves. And that is a level of success where you can let go of that corporate way of thinking, or let go of a certain dynamic of, I have to, sometimes they share things and it's like, weren't you worried that doesn't seem professional? And it's like, well, why isn't it professional? And I've established my, myself in my career, or my nails, or the way that I should be able to share a certain way that I think. I don't want a certain demographic or a certain clientele to walk into my shop and think that they can, say things to me about a topic, whether it's race, gender, religion, or whatever, or lifestyle.
Right.
I don't want to tolerate that. I don't want to deal with that. I have worked so hard to be where I am in this chair with my clientele. I don't have to take that. And that is a level of success where you can sit down and weed out the things that you don't want in your everyday life. Mm-hmm. That is a level of success, because in the beginning, you're so scared to speak up for yourself. You're so scared because you don't want to step on the wrong toes or say something. You just want to please the client. You just want to please the customer. And I say that I've reached that without even realizing it. And that is, I don't even know how to word that. I don't even know how to describe that. But when you reach a certain part of your life in your career where you can be your most authentic self to the public, that is a level of success, because you've let go of either bad employers before, or bad clients, or you don't have to do things that no longer serve you or make you or things that made you uncomfortable, services you weren't like acrylic. I let go of acrylic, and I was scared. I was like, I'm not a real nail artist, right? I'm not a tech, how can I say I'm a nail tech if I don't do acrylic anymore? That was just a big thing in my head. And it's like, well, no, I'm an artist first. I still have the foundation to give my clients their nails, and I can paint that art. And then we also create an environment where we welcome the demographic of people that we want and speak about the things that we want openly. Right. And not have, and I've created that for myself. People know, don't say that in front of Adri, because Adri will tell you. Do not, if somebody comes in with something stupid or something, regarding politics or regarding what's going on in the world, or they know that that's not something to be said in our shop if it is, if it's, racist, or if it's, anti-LGBTQ, if it's anything that's not, because of the area that we are in, we get a lot of, like our West Side clients, and we get a lot of our, North Scottsdale, Arcadia, and that's a demographic of people that are definitely more conservative and have their own political beliefs and are still not with the times. So to say that I have come this far in my career where I can sit there and I can be like, no, I don't want that in my chair.
Right.
That is a level of success, because I am no longer working to serve people. I've created a service that people have sought out to get from me. And then I can sit there and, like I say it all the time, like Erica do. I'm an artist and I am sensitive about my shit, because I am. I only want my art and my work to go into people that I feel like connect and have this certain, idea of what the world is. I don't want to give my art to people who have these, these moral beliefs that don't make sense, or who are, I don't even know how to word it. I don't even want to sound, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And that is a level of success, because I'm not working for someone, and I'm not working to serve people. I'm not that, you know what I mean? And in the nail industry, that has changed a lot, because that's the nails were the bottom tier. They were at the bottom tier, and sometimes they are. We aren't sought out as, makeup artists or hairstylists, right? Before you could. And why do we go back to celebrities? What we do, it's like, oh, you knew who their hair person was, you know who their makeup person was, but who's their nail person? And now we're seeing a little bit more of that, because the nail industry is being taken more serious as far as its role in the beauty industry, and its role in how much work it takes and the quality of work it takes to execute that and to be an artist in that realm.
Right, exactly. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media, and how can people support the work that you do?
Instagram, and that's Chica Artista Nails. That's pretty much the only outlet that I have right now, because I just want to keep it simple. And that is, you're going to see my stories and you're going to see my posts, and then that'll be it. If there's anything that ever changes, it'll be on Instagram first to let you know.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Adreanna, for jumping on the show. This was absolutely fun. This conversation. Thank you. Your work is absolutely cool. Thank you so much for jumping onto the show.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms, and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.